Hi, my name is Dual Davis with World Composting, and today we're going to do an update on the bin that has pine shavings in it. So it's been 10 days since our last update. We did add food last time, just like we did the time before, which I think was a 2-week gap. We're going to see how it's looking, if it's all gone, and if anything else needs to be in there. And also we're going to check it for fruit flies. I've had a fruit fly issue. It seems to be dissipating. They're almost all gone from my basement, but I want to check this out. It has not really had the same issues as a lot of my other bins, and I don't know if it's something about the shavings or maybe they don't like pine or what. I mean, the food is in there, so I'm surprised that they haven't tried to dig into it at all, but it seems to be working really well. So let's go and take a look and see how it's doing now and see if it needs any more food. Alright, so here's the bin, and let's start off by taking off this plastic and just seeing what's in here. Not much on here. I am going to switch this out with a darker colored plastic, and that's just simply for the camera afterwards. No other reason. A little bit of stuff build up on there, you know, nothing major. This is the big one though right here. And still really nothing on there. Nothing stuck to it either really, except for a couple shavings and everything. So nothing major that we're losing really by putting this off to the side and replacing that later. Now, last time we added quite a bit of water, and we had added food to the middle. So I'm just going to dig down here into the center. We're going to take a look and see what's going on. Actually, first off, let's just see. It's really hard to see cocoons in this material, I find. The coloring is sort of very similar. So there are some nice healthy worms, big worms in here though. You can really see them. They look really healthy. Let's just dig down in here, be as gentle as I can. And look at this. Tons of worms. So they are digging through this stuff slowly but surely, especially with the food in here. I'm trying to be careful. I'm trying not to hurt them too much because this material is a little bit rougher. But look at this handful. I mean, you can see they're really swarming all over the food. Nice, big, healthy ones. I'm not seeing as many of the little ones as I did before. But, I mean, you can just see, I mean, they're coming out of that end too. So, really healthy population of worms in here. The material at the bottom, there's a little bit of moisture you can see on the bottom, but it's not. There's no water running, so that's a good sign. It means that there's a good amount of water in here, but it's not running around like crazy. Now, it looks like all the food I added last time is gone. Plenty of worms in this section right here. You can see it's almost a worm ball right here. I mean, that's how many worms there were. I mean, look at that. Just an absolute swarm of them here in the center where the food was, which is what I expected. I mean, you know, you'd expect them to go towards the food and everything. So let's just put that back in there as best we can. And let's just dig over here in this section, see if there's anything over here. So the moisture content of the material looks pretty good. It might be a little bit dry on top, but the bottom section looks decent. It's a little bit more moist towards the bottom, a little bit drier towards the top, but that's to be expected. You know, so no worms in that section, but I'm just gonna kind of dig around in these sections here just a little bit just to see what I can see. Again, same thing, quite a bit of moisture content near the bottom here. Drier towards the top, so it's not wicking the moisture up sort of like the wood chips do. I find that the moisture wicks to the surface and dries away. And again, this side is really, really dry over here. Let's just take a look right here. I'm just trying to grab a handful. And as you can see, underneath though, it is wet. So you can see this definitive line right here, about an inch and a half down, where all of a sudden there's a line, and you can see that it's wet underneath. So again, I'm not seeing any worms in these sections, not surprisingly. You know, with no food, why would they go over there? And a nice healthy moisture content in the center here. So they are starting to really break down this material, it looks like to me. I mean, this is looking really good, but we want to kind of get them to spread out a little bit, not just be in the center section. So what we're going to do is we're going to dig right next to it over here. And there's plenty of moisture, I think, in this over here as well. And we're going to add our food over here. Now, the food I have, and I've had a lot of people ask me lately, the food I add is frozen. This is frozen solid right now. And the reason why is if I take it out to thaw it, I have to make sure it's completely sealed, and then it starts to smell or can start to rot a little bit pretty quickly, but I leave it frozen till it's in here. And the reason being is I also don't want it to get infested with fruit flies, and then I'm adding fruit flies to my bins constantly. So that is part of the reason why I do that. Now I am going to just take off my glove here real quick. We are going to add some of my crushed egg and crab shell to this that I put on quite frequently. Of course, I'll link above. And I do believe that, you know, this bin is fairly new. They're going to need that type of material in here, that grit, to really help get them going. I don't feel this needs any moisture at this time. You know, there's plenty of moisture in here, and some of it, the surface is dry, but the sections below, you know, 2 inches down, they're all wet, and I think that's perfectly fine. We're just going to smooth this out a little bit. You know, make sure everything's okay. And I think that's really our update. Now, I'm going to replace this, as I said, and this is really for the cameras, because I realized when I was doing this last time that the camera really has to do a massive adjustment. But I'm going to put this, let's flip this around this way, these brown bags in here instead of the white bags. And that what I'm hoping with that is that way the camera just doesn't have to do quite as much of an adjustment on the white balance and everything when it's trying to change. So let's just put this in here like this. I'm pressing this down a little bit to try to get the air out of them, as these are pretty new bags. And then one like this for this corner. So there we go. That's my update. I will make sure to add a date here, which I have on the front. As you can see, 2/21, and today is 3/3. So thank you for watching. Please subscribe to my channel if you like my videos, and please give this video a thumbs up.